Hello, everybody. This is Mac, and we're working on what we call interval notation. And this is going to be version B. In version A, what we did is we took a number line and we figured out the interval notation. This is the other way around. They're going to give us the interval notation, and we're going to have to put it on the number line, okay? Now, I want to remind you that you can always go to maxtutorials.com. And when you go there, you're going to see lots of algebra videos that'll help you in really anything that you can think of. And so I hope to help you through this whole course. And if you have any questions, let me know. I would love it if you would like and subscribe to those videos. Okay, so what interval notation does, it shows you the low end and the high end. And whenever you have a parenthesis, that would be like the whole. And whenever you see a bracket, that would be like the dot, okay? So this would be, like like a greater than sign or a less than sign, something like that, and that would have the equal sign. Another way to think about it. So if I look at number 1, the low end is -4. So I'm just going to write, it doesn't matter where I write it. I'm going to write it right there, and I'm going to write it with a hole, and on the high side is a 3. So it'll be -3, 2, 1, we'll call 0 right here. Okay, and then 1, 2, we'll call this a 3, and we got to put a dot because of the bracket. The bracket means it's going to be a dot, and the answer is going to be everything in between, okay? And that is our answer. Let me write a 3 right there, okay? Now on this one, okay, the negative infinity means, so this thing is going to go all the way to the end here, and it's going to go to a -2. It doesn't matter really where I put it. I'm going to put the -2 right, well, let's just put it right there, okay? So -2. Now, do I write a hole or a dot? Because it's a parenthesis, I'm going to write a hole, and I'm going to show that it goes all the way there. Now, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be my 5. Okay, and again, because of the parenthesis, it's going to be a hole, and it's going to go on to infinity, which is that way. Okay, so that would be the answer to number 2. Let's go on to number 3. Okay, I have a bracket at -6, so there's -6. That's got to be a dot. That's the low end, and it's going to go to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're going to call this one 1 right here. But because of the parenthesis, that's going to be a hole in the graph. And then we're just going to do everything in between. Number 4, this is an outie. Okay, so I know that I'm going to have this arrow, and it's going to go to -3. Let's just put it right there. -3, and that's because of the bracket, that's going to be a dot. Okay, -2, -1. 0, 1, 2, 3. We'll call this one here 4. Because of the bracket, that's going to be a dot, and it's going to go to infinity, so it goes that way. And that's how we read interval notation. Let's go on to number 5 here, 2 and 8, okay? So it's going to be between 2 and 8. Let's just call this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll call that 8, all right? Now, they both have parentheses, so that means they're both going to be holes, and that's the low and the high end. And so that's just our answer. Let's go on to number 6. All right, that's another outie one. So negative infinity means it's going to be the arrow going that way. And I'm going to make him -5. And because of the parenthesis, it's going to be a hole in the graph, not a dot. -4, -3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. Here's our 2. That's the low end of the next one. And because of the bracket, we want to put a dot there. And that's going to go on to infinity. All right, let's go on to number 7. Low end is a -1. And then, let's see, what did I do there? Low end is, I got a little weird there, -1. And that's the low end, and because of the bracket, it's going to be a dot. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 6. And because of the bracket, that's also going to be a dot. And we just do the middles. Number 8, because of the negative infinity, I want to do that. And it's going to go -7. I'm going to just write it right here. Give myself a little bit more room. Now, look at this. This one is bracketed at the -7. So I'm going to do a dot. Now I'm going to go to find -2, -6, 5, 4, 3. There's my -2. And that's the low end of this one, but because of the parentheses, it's a hole. And it's going to go this way because of the negative infinity. All right, let's look at number 9. We're going to have a 0 here and a 10. There's not even 10 lines. Let's just pretend the 10 is there. So I know that 0 is the low end, and it's got a parenthesis, so that's going to be a circle. And I see the 10 has a bracket, so he's going to have a dot. And then it's just going to be everything in between, okay? And going on to number 10, I have a negative infinity, so that's that, and a negative 1, let's just put it right there, and that's a parenthesis, so he's a hole in the graph. So they look like that. And then I'm going to go to 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then that needs to be a dot because it's a bracket, and it goes that way. Okay, so now hopefully you know how to read a graph and put it in the interval notation. And now after doing version B, you now know how to take the interval notation and put it through a graph. Okay, maybe we'll mix them up on C. So if you're feeling good about interval notation, you want to move forward, that's great. If not, go to version C, and I'll see you guys there.